hopefully we'll get this thing under control. All right. But welcome to Behind the Scope Sunday podcast. We'd like to thank everybody that subscribes. We are over 50,000 now, and that is because of you. I mean, really, thank you. So I guess we're providing content that you enjoy. If there's something out there that you'd like us to add to our channel, please feel free to email, chat, or post something on the community area. We will review it, and if it's doable, we'll put it on our shows. Right, Fred?
Oh, yeah.
So this week we posted 2 new shows, Final Mishaps and Rectified Retirement. Our chat room is open, so if you want to chat about anything about those 2 stories, we'd love to hear from you, what you thought about it, positive, negative, whatever. We would love to hear your feedback on our stories. Let's see. Additionally, anybody have any questions about that? Nothing? Well, I'm sorry to hear that nobody out there has got an interest in it. So, the chat room is open. You can chat. Feel free. Love to hear from you. Oh, that's not you. All right, well, we'll move on again. Other merchandise, we do have some merchandise that's on our site, and we have Behind the Scope LLC.com. Right here. Right there. And there's our QR code if you want to take a screenshot of that. But if you don't want to take a screenshot of that, Fred is modeling this shirt for us, and if you want to show that left shoulder,
Okay.
you can see that there's a QR code also on there, and people that are interested in the channel, you can have them hit that QR code, and they'll find us, okay? Other merchandise is going to be coming soon. We'll have a booklet on the history of ATC, which is what I just held up, and it has been updated, so it's current. And then we might have coffee cups, hats, and other items. So love to hear from you, love to get your feedback. Don't be shy, just let us know what you think. Right, Fred?
Yes. And now we'll talk about holidays. Various holidays through the year. People like to go and visit relatives, visit places. And with these holidays, we have to plan the system because the airlines are adding more aircraft for more people to buy tickets and go fly somewhere. But with those extra aircraft comes to higher demand. We have to keep making sure our staffing is adequate, that we have enough controllers to be on the positions. And our busiest time, I believe, is the Thanksgiving to Christmas time, where everybody is flying. If you're familiar with the East Coast, the route from the New York area down to the Florida area is endearingly known as the Hanukkah Highway. And the airlines will put 10 and 15 extra airplanes into the system, loaded with people. They'll fly down to the Florida area or other destinations down there. When they're empty, they'll turn around and fly them back up to the Northeast to reload and come back down. And you can have anything from Delta 1400 to Delta 1401, 1402, 1403. The controller has to remember all those numbers, and hopefully the pilot's going to remember all those numbers too, because there are times where they can get them mixed up, and we got to make sure that we're giving the clearance and the pilot is taking that clearance in the right aircraft. You don't want the wrong aircraft picking up a clearance and making a turn when we didn't need it. Doesn't get pretty when that happens.
It's easily done. If there's a long weather delay, most of the dispatchers already know what numbers are out there, so they make sure that they're not using the same numbers. But when you have 4,000 or 5,000 operations going on a day, you're eventually going to run into several aircraft that have the similar last 3 or 4 numbers of their call sign. So if United is delayed on a morning flight and they happen to run into an American that's got the same last tail number or call sign number as they did in the morning, and they're in the afternoon, yeah, you're going to have to say, similar sounding call signs. In fact, please listen up to your call signs, and you would repeat their call signs so that you would not get them confused. And on a radio, when there's a lot of weather, it's easy to get confused because of all the chatter that's going on while they're listening to our control instructions. Right, Fred?
Yeah, I know when I would get into busy situations, I didn't want pilots to just come on the frequency, key their mic, and start checking in. I would make a blanket broadcast for all aircraft to stand by, and I would initiate the calls. I would talk to them when I needed to. I didn't want, because if two pilots key their mics and try and talk at the same time, they step on each other and it blanks out the transmission. So I want to control when they're going to make that transmission and talk to them. There can be times where it gets really tense because you're busy concentrating on a lot of aircraft and somebody's trying to chime in and just want to take over and get what he wants. We have to keep it under control and get everybody going in the right direction. I know Bob had a situation up in Chicago one time where all the aircraft weren't listening in, and he made a transmission.
Oh, it wasn't me. It was a friend of mine that was working the aircraft. He was trying to get this one United to turn to the right, and for some reason he wasn't listening, or maybe he kept getting canceled out. And it was such a necessary turn that he finally keyed his mic and he said, "All Uniteds, turn right." And every one of them between Cubs, Pullman, and east of Grand Rapids all started to turn right. But probably about a 320 heading or so. And then finally that guy came back on the frequency and he got him back in course. And of course, making that right turn kept everybody in trail. They were just going away from the fix, which when they start going away from the fix, you hear from that aircraft right away. Don't you guys, gals?
I had a situation one time where an aircraft on the frequency had a bomb threat, and now I've got a string of airplanes behind them, and I certainly don't want those planes getting in tighter around that aircraft just in case something went the wrong way. So I'm reducing everyone to holding pattern airspeeds, getting them as slow as I can, and advising them that there's going to be extensive delays, and I'd have to turn them back to the west and then back to the east to give that situation on that aircraft with the bomb threat time to let it work out and figure out what we were going to do with this aircraft and where we were going to do it. So it got pretty tense.
Yeah, I talked to Rich Phillips. I know a lot of you Houston Center controllers know Rich, great guy. He was involved in a incident out in Abu Dhabi several years back with a UPS 747. The 747 was carrying lithium batteries in the entire cargo bay. And what happened was the front cargo bay caught fire while they just got through leveling off at their cruise altitude of 31,000, flight level 310. Their fire warning light went on, and they did try to extinguish the flame by isolating the compartment and venting the smoke out. Initially that started to work, but as they kept cruising along, the next compartment caught fire. It was all these lithium batteries, and you can imagine that's why they don't like to have you have lithium batteries on these aircraft. So if you get a chance, I'm not gonna do the spoiler, but if you get a chance, it's episode 15 of Mayday, or season 15 of Mayday, episode number 4, UPS, Fatal Delivery, I believe is the title of the story. And Rich is very resourceful in trying to save that aircraft. And I know, I'm sure you will appreciate the extent of expertise and his what do I want to say, creativity in trying to keep talking to this aircraft to save them. So if you get a chance, go ahead and watch that. I will be interviewing Rich Phillips probably in June. He'll be in town. So if anybody else is interested in coming out for an interview during that time, hanging out with Rich and doing some hangar flying with us, we'd love to have you on the show. So just letting you know, contact us. You could post, you could chat us up here in the chat room, or you can email us.
As a controller, you have the book, and it tells you the basic things to do to separate airplanes to keep the system running. But there's lots of times where you have to start thinking outside the book, outside the box. There are various times that everything that it says should happen doesn't happen. And you have to get creative, real creative. It really puts a demand on you, and that's where the pressure comes from, because
Right.
you've still got to make it work. If you don't make it work, you're going to be on the 6 o'clock news, and it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. Well, we'll move on a little bit here. We want to talk a little bit about the acting administrator, Chris Rocheleau, I believe his name is. He brought up some of the talking points from the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport incident that killed 67 people. So the NTSB's preliminary report, he testified before the U.S. Senate on the 27th of March, outlining plans to analyze airports with chartered helicopter routes and nearby airplane traffic. All these efforts included accessing offshore helicopter, like down here in the Gulf that we have in Houston Center, and using machine learning to scan incident reports and find risk areas. The FAA also permanently restricted non-88 essential helicopter operations and eliminated mixed traffic around the DCA area. So hopefully they'll come up with some better plans on moving helicopters, light aircraft, and civilian aircraft through DCA in a safer manner. The FAA also uncovered issues at Harry Reid International Airport in Vegas, and such as agreements with local helicopter operators that required them to avoid defined vertical or lateral measurements. Air tour helicopters operating in airports and arriving and departing airplanes locked traffic advisories from tower controllers, resulting in routine non-compliance with Class B separation rules. I mean, why would you have Class B airspace and then you would authorize certain aircraft to be non-compliant? One or two, yeah, but all of a sudden if you get 6 or 7 in there, they're all jockeying around, and it's kind of like juggling cats. So you don't want to have that happening. That is our sound man, Wes, by the way. We're still working and working through this new software. Hopefully we'll have all the bugs out of it by next week. I hope you enjoy it. I hope the sound is good. But let's move on. Let's see, after requiring positive helicopter control and issuing more traffic advisories, the number of traffic alert and collision avoidance system reports decreased by 30% since they implemented that. So that's a good thing. It's sad that it had to come on the heels of 67 people and 2 aircraft being destroyed, but at least they're making headway into continuing to make the system safe. The air traffic system of flying is still safer than any other form or mode of transportation out there. You just don't get in your car like you do in an airplane. Here, you get your car, you open the door, you start, you go. Airplanes, you got to go around, you got to kick the tires, you got to go through the pilot operating handbook, jiggle the rudder, the ailerons, the elevators, make sure there's no water in your fuel. There's a lot of different steps to ensure the safety of your flight. And without those steps, the system would not be that safe. And the reason those steps exist is due to incidents and accidents like this. Right, Fred?
Oh, yeah. Now, I don't know if people are aware of it, but we've got the next generation, and Boeing's been working on this for probably 10 years already. And it's called the Blended Wing. It's beautiful, it's very functional. It's going to use 50% of the fuel that a normal jet uses now, and it carries about 250 people.
Yep.
I remember seeing the first designs, and they're getting to the point, they've got some pretty large models that they're flying now to see how it handles and the characteristics. But they're going to be building the actual full design where you can go get in it and sit down in a seat. In our lifetime, we're talking probably 5 years, maybe 10, these designs will start to come out. I remember back in the late 60s, early 70s, when, no dinosaurs roaming, but when Boeing was talking about something called the 747 and the size of it and the money it would save, how many people it would carry. When those first started to fly, they were so big they couldn't even put them into the hangars. They had to build new hangars so it would fit, because they worked on designs to possibly bend the tail around, and that was impossible, so they had to decide on bigger hangars. Now, with some of the newer designs, the latest 777X, they've gotten so big and so economical, they're going to have folding wings, similar to you see aircraft on our Navy aircraft carriers, and they'll fold that wing up. It's probably, they've been working on that 777X now for probably a good 5 years plus, and it's going to be delivered in about the next 2. They've got to take it out, test it. They fly it in all different characteristics and realms, all different temperatures to see how it handles. And that wing, that new wing they have, is going to be even more economical than what's flying around now in the 777s. It's a big airplane. It's a 2-engine airplane, and it took the place of the 747 when the 747 had 4 engines. And beautiful airplane, but very heavy on fuel consumption. Yeah. The 777 in all the different designs, there's like 4 of them, and the 777 carries more and more and goes farther and farther. What's your thinking on that, Bob?
Well, I really like the new design of the aircraft, and I'm glad the system is getting more and more modernized, especially the fact that it has 50% fuel savings. That is fabulous. You know, the price of fuel definitely raises the price of those tickets. So if anything that could bring the price down would be most appreciated by all of us consumers out there, right? Not everybody gets buddy passes on United and American. And of course, you have to pay for the luggage, you know. I still don't get the idea of the luggage. If you can wear it, I guess if you could wear everything in your luggage, you wouldn't have to pack it, you wouldn't have to pay anything. You'd be a sweaty mess by the time you got to your airport, but you would definitely not have to pay for luggage.
The luggage costs as much as the tickets.
That's right, that's right. The luggage costs as much as the tickets.
So you heard it here first. Bob is suggesting how you can do your packing in layers on your body. You will see these people. They may look a little chunky online, but they've got a week's worth of clothing under it.
Right. I can tell you a little story. When I was, back when I was 17, 18 years old, I was stationed up at Loring Air Force Base, Maine. And sometimes the temperatures with the wind chill factor would get down -60, -70. And you'd be wearing your bunny boots, you'd have your parker on, you'd have your long johns on, everything you possibly can, you'd have on. Well, it was February of 1976, I believe, and I'd taken a vacation. I saved up enough money, believe it or not, on two-striper earnings to go to Florida for a week, just to get out of that icy cold weather. So I go down to Presque Isle Airport, which is about 50 to 60 miles, well, 40 miles south of Loring, and I get on a Beach 99, Baja Harbor Airlines. I fly from Presque Isle down to Boston. I get on a Delta, from Delta, Boston, all the way down to Tampa. I flew down to Tampa, and I got off the plane. It was about 82 degrees in Tampa. I was peeling off all of these clothes. My goodness, it was so hot. And I didn't realize how much I was wearing until I got to the airport. But that's it. You can do that if you can survive the trip. You don't have to pack anything. But I would suggest at least taking some new underwear. Yeah. Right?
And don't let them weigh you. Yeah, you
Oh,
may.
is there
you
a
may-
limit on weighing now? How much you weigh?
Well, the suitcases there are, no, not, well, on certain people, you seem chunky enough, they do have weight restrictions, because they want to know if they're going to sell you an extra seat.
Well, that's about all that I have today, unless somebody out there wants to chime in with something. Let me see if there's, maybe my chat box isn't working over here. Let's see here. I'll sign in, view it, go here. Let's see, there's Richard Piper. Hi, Richard.
Famous Richard Piper.
Is it still hung up? Hopefully you can see us out there. Is it everything working out over there correctly, Wes? Yep. Let me see.
Richard's side?
Yeah, Richard's on. Five are watching. There's 5 of you out there watching. Anybody have any questions now that I can type into this chat box? Love to have a little correspondence with you all. There is a little bit. Oh, thank you, Richard. I appreciate that. What did you think about the 2 new stories this week? Oh, it only hung. Oh, you mean the schmuck in the truck? He said it only hung up for a minute while Fred was
Yeah.
talking. You didn't miss much from Fred. No, actually, he had some really good wisdom out there. Which part did you miss? I see there are 6 others watching out there. Anybody else want to chime in?
Richard, we worked together a lot of years. There could be some other endearing stories you have about me besides that one.
We'd love to hear from you. And if you're just getting on, once again, I want to reiterate that we thank you so much for your support. We're over 52,000 subscribers right now, and it's just it's just going great. If you can, when you watch the videos, make sure you thumbs up. And what would really work for us, if you possibly could, when you hit play the entire list. That way there our hours will continue to accumulate, because right now we're not getting enough viewing hours, even though we got 52,000 people, because they'll come on, they'll watch about 75% of it, and then they'll go offline, and we won't get the full measure. So a thumbs up works, and a continuation into the next play. So the seasons, like season 2, if you want to hit playlist and just hit play, you don't have to listen to the whole thing. You can walk away and turn the volume down. That would be okay with me and Fred. But please share, like, and subscribe. It would really help us out. We still have 3,342 more hours that we have to accumulate before we can even monetize. So that's where we are in this particular place, and that's going to take us about almost a year to get to, unless we get more people watching the entire amount and thumbs upping us. So please keep that in mind for us. We would really appreciate it. Anything else from you, Fred?
No.
Once again, if you want to see something on the channel that that we're not delivering, please text us, email us, put it in the post, and we would love to follow up on that. But until next week, we want to say thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week Sunday. Brett?
Have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
All right, we're going to cut the show. You guys have a great week. Bye now.